Oh no, I'm a big Derek Carr supporter. Have been for years. I think, I'm not saying he's a top five type of guy, but I'm telling you, he's a really solid NFL quarterback. Right? He's more towards top 12 than he is top five. But he's certainly top. He's a top 12 guy. Look, so you think it's crazy, right? I know he's had a bad year. He got benched, right? He's already at 35,000 career yards. Only 33 NFL quarterbacks have done that ever in the history of the league. He's already got 217 touchdowns. Only 36 players in the league have more quarterback-wise. Right? His career average for a season, right? 3,900 yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 picks, a 92 pass rating. Now he's only 31 years old. If he can even do it for 3 more years, he'll have thrown for over 45,000 yards. 45,000. That'd be something only 16 NFL quarterbacks have ever done in their career. 16. 16. Like, put that into perspective, please. Right? How about 5 more years on that pace? Which Derek's 31. I think 5 more years is doable. I don't expect 5 more years at that pace. But 5 more years, right? He'd be nearing 50,000 yards. Maybe over 50,000 yards. Which is going to be good for anywhere between 12th and 13th best of all time. Come on. Wake up. How about that? After 3 years at that pace for touchdowns, he'd be at 290 touchdowns. Again, only 16 guys all time would have more. So we would sit here and mess around. But he throws some picks. Okay, here's what I'm looking at. Production. More yards, more touchdowns. Right? How about after 5 years at that pace for touchdowns? He'd be at 340. Only 11 people would have more. In the history of football, in the history of the quarterback position, only 11 people would have more. Oh, let's not even mention that Derek Carr has had the 32nd ranked defense since he's come into the league. 32nd. Oh, also, not to mention, since he started, Pro Football Focus has labeled the offensive line as, quote, bottom tier. Bottom tier. They traded away his best receiver, Amari Cooper, traded his best edge rusher, Khalil Mack, and has replaced them with a nobody. Now, Devontae Adams. And he had a really good year with Devontae. Well, made Devontae have a good year. Right, so let's be honest about Derek. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, right? I'm not saying he's Justin Herbert. He's a really, really solid NFL quarterback. You're going to turn around in 4 or 5 years, when he eventually retires, probably about 5 or 6 maybe, and be like, oh, I actually forgot he was like that good. I forgot he had that good of a career. So he had a tough year. Okay. Like that happens when you're on, I don't know, your 6th coach? When you have the poorest owner in the league? When you have to move your franchise? Completely uproot it? When your wide receiver kills an innocent civilian? When your top DB pulls out a gun on social media? And you just, it's fine, we'll just drag the entire team to the playoffs. Like, it's laughable the hate that he gets. I don't understand it. Mark my words, you'll turn around in 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 if you can stretch it out, and be like, wow, it's actually a marvel that Derek Carr has this good of numbers. He's a pretty good quarterback. Especially when it counts. Down the stretch, 4th quarter, 3rd down, very, very solid NFL quarterback. Again, not saying he's top 5 or top 10. Top 12, absolutely. Absolutely. And over the last 10 years, he has been a top 10 quarterback over the last decade. 100%. 100%. You can't deny it looking at the numbers. If he can continue on a pace that's not even crazy. That's not 25 touchdowns. That's not even crazy. Mahomes already at 40. Like 25 touchdowns is super doable. 3,900 yards? Yeah. That's very, very doable for Derek Carr, who throws for a lot of yards generally. He's going to be a top 16 quarterback of all time. Just wait. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, those numbers are actually very impressive. Top 16 of all time. Top 12 16. Of all time.
Yeah. Top 11 of all time, yeah.
Those are numbers that you don't...
but he's a bomb.
It's very hard to come by.
But he's not flashy.
But that opens the question, what team is going to get him at such a discounted rate right now? Because I think...
It's a good question.
If you're a GM, you have to view him more at this standpoint than you do from this season's play, right?
I have to look at a whole body of work.
Okay, but do you think this bad season is going to bring his price down a little bit, and somebody can get a deal and get Derek Carr for cheaper than he should be?
So let's play a little impromptu this or that. So, let's throw out some teams that would be like in the running. Like I think let's go both New York teams. So let's start with the Jets.
Okay. I like him more than Mike White, and I like him more than Zach Wilson.
And let's assume for this that his salary is like pretty average, like middle of the road, because he's like right now he's viewed as a middle of the road quarterback, somewhere a middle of the road salary, 25, 30 million, somewhere around there.
All right.
Mike White or Zach Wilson or Derek Carr.
Derek Carr
Easily. I don't even think it's close. That's not even a discussion to me.
No, I don't even have to think about that one. Derek Carr is way more proven and way more just battle tested than Zach Wilson.
Couldn't agree more.
Is.
And people are like, well, they should draft one. So you're going to draft another rookie quarterback in that division with Belichick, McDermott, and now the Dolphins who will look competent?
And I think,
absolutely not. That'd be stupid.
He would fit the bill for New York too because he's a very tough player.
Tough player. He's dealt with critical media his entire career.
Yep.
That wouldn't be a problem for him.
And he's been in Vegas now.
So staying in New York, the Giants.
I mean,
Daniel Jones or Derek Carr.
I would take Daniel Jones, or I would take Derek Carr over Daniel Jones.
Thank you very much. Absolutely, I would too.
That's not even one that's that close either. I think Daniel Jones could have some sort of an upside, but I don't see it being more than Derek Carr.
The only way that I would keep Daniel Jones if he was significantly cheaper. If you told me Daniel Jones $15 million and Derek Carr was $30, I'll take Daniel Jones.
What about 20 and 30? Like if Daniel Jones is 20 and Derek Carr's 30, who are you taking? I think I would eat the money on that one. I would just eat it. I would take Derek Carr.
The only reason I think about it is because it's far from a complete roster. Like the Jets, I don't want to say it's a complete roster, but they're closer to being complete, so they don't need as much cap space as the Giants do.
And you have to re-sign Saquon.
But the Giants could use some cap space, so I'd have to think about it. I'd probably lean Derek, though.
Okay,
what about Washington?
Derek Carr. I would take Derek.
I think Derek Carr as well, and especially because it fits the bill for what they need. A veteran quarterback who's going to produce yards, generally speaking, not going to throw a lot of picks. Right? He averages 11, but that'll probably come down, especially if Rivera stays as the defensive coach.
Yes. And then, okay, so like real quick, let's go over this.
Don't they feel like a playoff team with Derek Carr?
I think so.
They're just missing it by like a game this year. Do they feel like a playoff team if they have Derek Carr?
I think it definitely helps their case.
I think so too.
Because you have an actual experienced quarterback that knows what he's doing, especially in the playoffs, getting
Couldn't
playoff experience. The one that we have to look at as a whole, I would say the entire NFC South. Because you have the Bucs that will probably be looking after Brady leaves. Okay. You have the Saints that probably need a quarterback, definitely need a quarterback, because they're not going to ride with Andy Dalton for much longer.
I agree, and they're 7-9 right now. They could finish at 7-10 or 8-9, which means they're not going to be drafting in a very quarterback-friendly draft spot.
Right. Then you have the Panthers and the Falcons.
Now, they probably will be in a quarterback-friendly draft spot, and the Falcons. So if I'm the Bucs, yes, because you have an aging roster, which means you're not ready for a complete rebuild, so you're not ready to go draft a guy and suck for a couple of years. Those veterans, you're losing the locker room at that point. So I would go get Derek Carr for 2-3 years, yes.
Okay, so...
For the Bucs?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think
That's a
after Brady leaves.
And it would be horrific to go from Tom Brady to...
Kyle Trask?
Yeah, to some rookie that's never
What about... Started. Okay, so... I was just saying, I would, for every other team in the division, yes, except I could make the case that for the Panthers...
They could find somebody better in the draft.
No. Maybe not better, but at least younger, cheaper, and that roster is young. That's a full rebuild. If I'm going full rebuild, I'm starting from the top down. I'm rebuilding everything. Right? Like, Atlanta has some pieces. They can run the football a little bit. Defense not terrible. They got some guys on the back end.
If they could plug in the quarterback, they would be in business.
They were competitive this year. They're 6-10, could be 6-11 or 7-10. Are they not close to 500 with Derek Carr and competing for the division?
Easily in that division, sure.
Exactly. Same with the Saints.
Yeah, I think so. So then, what about the Colts? So that's another one. Indianapolis.
Yes.
So you'd rather have Derek Carr than Matt Ryan. I think I would 100% agree with that.
Yep.
Matt
Cheaper.
Ryan's aging.
Yes, 100%. And Derek, not that he's mobile, but he can at least move a little bit. Matt is a statue.
He's mobile enough to get out of the way.
Matt at this point is a statue. Plays. He's a statue. Yeah, he can't get it done.
He's really starting to show his age.
What about the Titans? Because I think he's better than Tannehill.
So he's better than Tannehill, but then you have to think about what sort of upside you could have with Malik. And we haven't seen much. Right? Like, we haven't seen much upside with Malik.
So, my personal view, I think Malik's another 2 years of sitting until being ready. I swear to God, 2 years of sitting.
So, what, you would bring Derek Carr in, keep him on the bench, learn behind Derek Carr a little bit.
100%.
Put him in a couple games where you need to see flashes.
Do you think it's crazy?
I don't think it's crazy.
I think Malik is so raw.
Now, this is a case where you'd really have to get the salary right for Derek Carr because you're not going to pay. Cheaper. You're not going to pay Derek Carr a bunch of money when you want to keep Malik Willis around and sitting on the bench and learning and eventually have him be your
right.
starter.
Because then it gets a little awkward if he's getting paid too much. Yeah,
right.
I agree.
And we've seen quarterback rooms get messed up with that. So, I don't know. Either way, that was interesting.
That was a good one. It was good. Good little discussion there.
Yeah.